Good morning, brothers and sisters. This is a prophecy report entitled Speculation. I constantly receive emails from readers who want me to give them my opinion on how close we are to the rapture. Some keep rephrasing the question and asking again and again. Some say, I know you don't know the day or hour, but will it be in the next few weeks? Before the end of this year? What do you think? Many readers have been expecting the rapture to happen for several years, but it has not happened, and they want to know how much longer will we have to wait. One reader recently wrote this, quote, I thought for sure the rapture was going to happen during the Obama administration. I see things like AI, cashless society coming, LGBTQ and trans, and I see people who just don't care anything about God or morals. I mean, we have to be on the cusp of this happening sometime soon, right? I'm not asking for a date. My question is, always, is there any chance we're just wrong or seeing what we want to see? This reader has gone from expecting the rapture to happen any time to wondering if it might still be a long time or if we could be misunderstanding the Bible. I totally understand. I have been expecting the rapture to happen any time for a long time myself. Having said this, I want to speculate for just a minute, and hopefully it will be helpful to some who are wondering about how long it will be. I believe the rapture will happen before the tribulation period begins, often called the pre-trib rapture. The mark of the beast, a global ID, cashless society, forcing everyone to take the name, number, or mark of the Antichrist, will begin at the middle of the tribulation period. The tribulation period will last for 7 years, 2,520 days on the Jewish calendar. If I'm correct about these three beliefs, it means the rapture will take place a minimum of 3.5 years before the mark of the beast, the global ID, cashless society, forcing people to take the mark, etc. And perhaps more than that, because there could be a gap between the rapture and the tribulation period. The globalist goal is to establish a world government by 2030 or sooner. If their world government begins in 2030, the rapture would be between now and 2030. If they intend to have a global ID, a cashless society, and force everyone to take the mark by 2030, the rapture would be in 2026 or sooner. And if there's a gap between the rapture and the tribulation, the rapture could be very soon. If the battle of Gog and Magog were to take place soon, it would accelerate the development of world government and therefore accelerate the rapture. It may not happen, but a breakthrough in the peace negotiations between Israel and Saudi Arabia might speed up the 7-year covenant with many and therefore accelerate the rapture. Anyway, as I said, I am speculating. Obviously, I could be wrong, but I don't think so, and I hope that my speculation helps those who are getting concerned because the rapture has not happened. God is in control. The rapture will happen when He wants it to happen, and it will come upon the earth like a snare. It will catch multitudes by surprise. So be ready and stay ready. Here are some signs that seem to indicate that we are getting close. Concerning the return of the Jews to the Promised Land at the end of the age, on August 17th, it was reported that about 75,000 Jews immigrated to Israel in 2022. Another 34,000 immigrated during the first 6 months of 2023, and there are about 60,000 in Russia that want to immigrate, but Russia will only allow 2,500 to leave each month. Jesus revealed that there will be Jews in Judea at the middle of the tribulation period. On August 23rd, after a year of working on it, a group of architects, engineers, and others presented a plan to Israeli Prime Minister for the construction of cities, industrial parks, a hospital, a railroad, and an airport to boost the Jewish population of Judea and Samaria to 1 million people. The Bible teaches that Jerusalem will be expanded and be a cup of trembling and a burdensome stone for the entire world at the end of the age. On August 20th, Israel approved a plan to spend the equivalent of $840 million on improvements and expansion in East Jerusalem over the next 5 years. The Palestinians claim East Jerusalem. They want it to be the capital of their desired Palestinian state. The Temple Mount is there and more, but Israel is now going to grow the area, make it more secure, and strengthen her sovereignty over it. Concerning the Antichrist's confirmation of a worthless 7-year covenant with many for peace in the Middle East, last week we reported that the UN Secretary has scheduled a meeting for September 18th through the 19th to push world leaders to commit to 7 years of accelerated, sustained, and transformative action, both nationally and internationally, to deliver on the promise of the SDGs. We also noted that the Biden administration wants to conclude a deal by March 2024 to normalize relations between Saudi Arabia and Israel. Now for the latest. Following 3 recent visits by U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan to Saudi Arabia, on August 23rd, an unidentified senior Israeli official said on the conditions, progress has been made in discussions between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia, and an agreement could be reached as early as next year. We're talking about a peace agreement between Saudi Arabia and Israel next year, likely early next year. We're navigating this diplomatically, and there's still ground to cover. We're in talks with both the Saudis and Israelis. Concerning the U.S. and Saudi Arabia, the talks have been mostly about the safety of Saudi Arabia, the U.S. protecting Saudi Arabia from Iran, and the U.S. sending weapons to Saudi Arabia, helping the Saudis build a nuclear reactor. Concerning the Palestinians and the demands that are being placed on Israel, Ron Dermer, Israel's Strategic Affairs Minister, said the talks have been mostly about the U.S. and Saudi Arabia giving economic aid to the Palestinians, not about Jewish settlement construction or halts in Jewish settlement construction. Understand that a UN agreement to establish a world government in 7 years, a likely agreement to establish peace between Saudi Arabia and Israel, and protection for the Saudis against Iran in early 2024 are extremely big events in Bible prophecy. On August 27th, it was reported that the U.S. has advised Israel that it will have to make major concessions to the Palestinians for a deal to succeed. Concerning the decline of America and an economic collapse, on August 25th, it was reported that the BRICS nations will be joined by Saudi Arabia, Iran, Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, and the United Arab Emirates, effective January 1st, 2024. Officials expected the BRIC nations to control 60% of the world's oil. The addition of these other 6 nations on January 1st will give the group control of 80% of the world's oil. Biden's decision to shut down the Keystone Pipeline, suspend new oil and gas drilling permits, sell about 75% of America's strategic oil reserves has now left the United States in a bad position. It may take a while, but some officials say the price of oil will drastically increase, and that will drive up the price of everything average U.S. citizens buy. FYI, Russia and Iran are riding high right now, but they will be brought down, and BRICS will be weakened when the Battle of Gog and Magog takes place. It has recently been reported that the World Economic Forum and the IMF are calling for a global digital ID and a global digital currency system that uses trackable CBDCs. We have been told that these could soon become a reality. Leo Hohmann, a very highly respected researcher and writer, put it like this. Holman added, once these two tools are in place, there will be no turning back. As I understand it, he was saying, and I agree with him, the system will lead to the mark of the beast, will be in place, and it will be unstoppable. Concerning the decline of America on August 22nd, it was reported that the Biden administration has opened 114 gates in Trump's border wall and welded them open so they cannot be closed by border control agents. On August 28th, it was reported that the DHS has spent $770 million to facilitate illegal immigration. Finally, are you rapture ready?